Okay, so here's some lightweight hardware, and here is some heavy-duty, heavy hardware. Lightweight versus heavyweight, who wins? Well, when you think about lightweight hardware, only two companies come to my mind, and that's Tama and DW. They're the only two companies that really nailed it, but the heavyweight stuff, the heavy-duty stuff, well, I mean, name a drum company and they probably do it. Pearl, DW, Tama, Gibraltar, everybody does it. So which one's better? Which one is the best one for you? Well, this lightweight hardware is really lightweight. It's in the name. It's lightweight. Why is that beneficial? Because if you're loading in every day, every night, in and out of venues, you know how heavy hardware can be, and it can be a real nightmare. For example, I can get a whole set of the lightweight stuff, 2 cymbal stands, a snare stand, a hi-hat stand, and have the whole thing in a small tiny bag that comes under 6 kg. That's insane. If I had the exact same in the heavy duty stuff, I mean, I'm going to need a trolley. It's going to be big. It's going to be bulky. This right here is the answer to that. So if it annoys you coming in and out, you're sick of lifting really heavy stuff, lightweight hardware obviously is the way to go. So I'm going to give it a point there. But what about sturdiness? So when we talk about the heavyweight stuff, you would assume that it's going to be a lot more sturdy and stronger. And you know, you're right. This is going to be a lot more sturdy. When you put a cymbal on a cymbal stand, it stays in that exact spot and it doesn't move. Same with a snare stand. The example of the lightweight that I have to kind of give out about it, yeah, you put the cymbal on, it's going to stay in position. The snare is going to stay in position, but have a look at this video here. You're going to get a slight wobble on the snare stand, on the cymbal stand. You can see there, that's just me pulling it. That kind of happens all the time when you're playing. So you do get a slight wobble, which, do you know what? It's going to annoy some drummers. It really is. That's just the way it is. So I'm going to have to give a point to the heavyweight stuff there. The heavy duty hardware, it's really a lot better. If you want a little bit more stability, if you want a little bit less wobble, if you want everything to stay perfectly still when you're playing, this is the only option, because lightweight, it's just not there yet. But let's talk about size. So we can see there, I can't even get that into frame, can I? There you go. That's it down to, I can't get that any smaller for the heavyweight stuff, and that's really small. So the lightweight hardware takes up a lot less space. And I'm not just talking about the logistics of going from where you are to the venue. I'm talking about being on stage as well. Look, this lightweight stuff always comes with a flat bass, okay? At least the option of having a flat bass. Flat bass means basically when you take down the legs, it lies flat on the floor. The heavy duty stuff generally has the big legs that come out. They're double braced. They take up a lot of space. This doesn't take up half as much space on the stage. That's real beneficial, because in some venues, space, you know, you don't have a lot of it. This will take up an awful lot of space. This doesn't. So if you want to save a lot of space on the stage, if you want to save a huge amount of space in your vehicle of how you're traveling from wherever you are to the gig, then lightweight hardware is the way to go. So I'm going to give another point to the lightweight hardware. Now, you would think because this is heavy duty and we're using words like strong and stable, that it's going to last a lot longer. What about the longevity? Are you going to get longer for this than this? Well, I can only take the example I've had. And as I've said, I've used both of these for many years. I bought this set, the Tama set, back in 2017. So 17, 18, 19. We're not going to talk about 2020 and a little bit of this year. So we'll say 4 years. And I have to say, it's in perfect condition. Not a screw broke, not a thread gone. Everything's working just like it did on day one. Now, the same can be said for my heavy duty stuff. Okay, the heavy duty stuff I've had for maybe 5, 6 years. And yeah, it's had a few threads gone, or maybe a bolt broke now here and there, but easily replaced. But you get the same longevity. And so from that reason, I can't pick a winner. So they're both getting 1 point. Now, what about range of motion? Now, what does range of motion mean? But it's really, really important on hardware. Range of motion is, for instance, just the top there. Where do you want your cymbal to be? So do you want it slightly angled? Do you want it perfectly flat? Take, for example, an even better, a better example would be the snare stand. So this is a really nice Gibraltar snare stand. I can't remember the number, but trust me, it's really nice. And I did a review on it. But we're taking this example against a lightweight hardware snare stand. So have a look here. You can see the lightweight hardware snare stand. The one range of motion I can go up and I can go down. That's it. There is no other real range of motion in that. Now, let's take, for example, this Gibraltar one, this heavy duty one. Well, it can go up, it can go down, it can go across, it can go over, it can go back and go under. It literally can do anything you want. So for that reason, it's unbelievably good. So if you want range of motion, if you want different angles, if you're very particular, most importantly, about different angles, then the heavy duty stuff is the way to go. So I'm going to stick a point up for that. Now, what about cost? Cost is important. So let's just go straight to it. If you want to buy a set of the lightweight hardware, it's about $250. Now it can be a little bit more expensive. I'm judging that on Tama. If you go to DW, everything for DW costs that a little bit more. So maybe it'll go up to 300 or something like that. But you're talking about 250, 300. Maybe you can get it a deal on too. This one, you're not going to get a heavy duty set for that price. It's going to be way more expensive. And I don't mean a pretend heavy duty. You can pick up a quote unquote heavy duty hardware set for 250, but it's not heavy duty. Like for instance, this snare stand, it's $100 on its own. So you spend $100 for that, add another 20 onto that if you want a cymbal stand. It's 120 per stand. Two or three cymbal stands, we're gone way over, nearly at $400 there. Add the hi-hat stand to it, maybe add another 200. So we're going north of maybe 500, something like that. So there's a big price difference there. So I got to give a point to the lightweight hardware. Now, what about being an all-rounder? What do I mean by being an all-rounder? Can I do everything with this, the heavy-duty stuff, with the lightweight stuff? And the answer is no. So I think the heavy-duty wins here, because with the heavy-duty stuff, I can play from the lightest of jazz all the way up to the heaviest of metals and not worry about it. Now, taking the lightweight stuff, well, I can play the lightest of jazz, and I can play all the way up to the maybe pretty heavy rock. When I really want to play heavy metal, I don't want to go out with a lightweight hardware set. I just don't. There's too much wobble as it is when you're just playing kind of medium to heavy. You're really going for it. The lightweight stuff is kind of, it just doesn't fit the bill. So for that reason, I'm gonna give the heavy hardware, the heavy hardware stuff, another point. So where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us with everything being even. So we got 4 points for the lightweight, and we got 4 points for the heavyweight. So which one should you choose? Because there has to be a winner. Well, it depends on what you want. If you're looking for a way to get in and out of the venue really fast, that's looking for something that doesn't take up a huge amount of space, and you don't mind a little bit of wobble, then the lightweight stuff is for you. Remember, it lasts just as good. It's going to keep everything in place. It does its job. It's a little bit cheaper. Now, if wobble irritates you, if a little bit of movement irritates you, then you need to go to the heavy hardware stuff. Think about the aesthetics as well. If you're going to pick a lightweight hardware set, it's going to look like a vintage looking drum kit because they're very thin, has a flat bass. If you want a more contemporary looking drum kit, don't get the lightweight stuff. It doesn't look contemporary. It looks old fashioned. It looks vintage. It's not a bad thing or a good thing. It is. Again, if you're playing really heavy music, or you play a range of heavy music, maybe you play in a jazz band at the weekend and then you play heavy metal during the week and you need one set, I think maybe you should just go with the hardware, the really heavy stuff, the heavy duty hardware. That seems to be the way I would go, and that's what I think. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comment section. Hit a like on the video, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. See you next week for a brand new video.
Guys, hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you like what you've seen here today, you can see a lot more videos. Just click on any of them here on the screen.